All right, Nazila Fathi with us now, New York Times former reporter in Tehran and author of a most pertinent book, The Lonely War. There is this idea of peace, and I don't know what peace means. It means a lot of things to different people. But is it possible to have real peace, meaning that people are not shouting death to America while the Ayatollah is still alive?
Well, Leland, I am pretty sure this is what the Iranian people want as well. This rhetoric, the defiant language, and the aggressive tone is something that Iranians have over and over voted against it. They have the right to, Iranian people can elect their president, and they have repeatedly elected presidents who have called for peace. And it's very interesting that yesterday, right before this televised address came, a former president put out a statement and said exactly the same thing, that it's time for peace and we need to put away the language that is creating animosity with other countries.
There's a difference between language that's creating animosity and actually saying we are going to change, right? We are going to disband the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. We're going to stop funding terror groups. We are going to actually give up a nuclear weapons program in ways that the world can verify and trust. Forgive me, but how is that possible while the hardliners in Iran continue to breathe free air, because they're not going to give up any power on their own?
Well, to your point, about 35 hardline revolutionary leaders have been killed. And this televised message was recorded inside a shelter, a fortified shelter. So, I don't know why, if he felt so victorious, and I'm talking about the Supreme Leader. Yeah, if he really thought that Iran had won this conflict and Iran had that much power, why he recorded this address out of a bunker? He's still exactly where he was 2 weeks ago. And the other speculation was that he's not going to talk. Instead, he's going to show his face. He's going to participate in the funeral of some of these revolutionary guards.
Let me ask it this way, and I think this may be a different way to get at this, is that twice the Iranian people have risen up. There was the Green Revolution in 2009, and then there was the revolution, or protests, I should say, when a young woman was beaten to death because she didn't have her hijab on properly. There were mass protests. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard and the militia groups came out and shot people in the streets and imprisoned people and beat them and hung them and did all the evil things that repressive regimes did. And America was silent. Barack Obama said it was his big regret in 2009. Shocking. And Joe Biden and his team was completely feckless and gave all sorts of excuses of why they wouldn't support the Iranian people. After the West and America turned its back on the Iranians, the brave Iranians who would take to the streets, we turned our back on them twice. Why should they have an appetite to rise up a third time?
They have risen a lot more than twice. I covered Iran from 1999 to 2009. And there were protests every year. Sometimes there were protests every couple of months. Iranian people have risen up a lot of times, but unfortunately, every time they have tried to even express their desire for change, the crackdown has been severe. And as you mentioned earlier in your reporting right now, as long as there are hardliners who see any kind of change as an existential threat to their rule, they're not going to let that change happen.
Well said. And they will use brutal means to do it. And until people in the United States stand up and support those seeking change, I guess you could say if only we supported those seeking change as we support those, or say we support those seeking peace. Nazila, thank you very much. I don't think people really realize how brave it is to be a reporter as a woman in Iran for 10 years. You've earned the right for us to listen to your opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.